Well, now I'm pretty much forced to give a bad review from a certain app maker. I believe they're called miSoft, miSoft. They make an app called Animation Studio. What happened was I downloaded this thing on my iPod and it wouldn't work right. It wouldn't save my work after I did a whole, like say a 15-minute animation. And it would crash all the time, and it didn't export to my camera roll so I could use it in later video edits. So I gave a review that was honest about that. Not a malicious, over-the-top, just a matter-of-fact review. Then I contacted the app maker and asked about it. What ensued was a back and forth, basically argument of 10 emails each. Respond, reply, respond. This person basically, out of the blue, just took this so personally that I'd given them a bad review. They said that I was being malicious, attacking them. I was out to destroy app makers. This animation studio person. Well, the funny thing is about this, I have another free app that I tried after this from these, and it works fine. I think something was wrong with this particular app. I reinstalled it, I deleted it, blah, blah, blah. And they're telling me the most basic crap. Like, oh, did you reboot your iPhone? You know how to do that? You press this and that and hold it. Yeah. I've had an iPod and iPhones for like 2-3 years now. I know what I'm doing. And then basically this person was blaming everybody but themselves. It's not our fault, it's Apple's fault.
You haven't updated yet to the latest firmware? You have to update...
Why should I have to update to the latest firmware?
When you have it for sale on my
particular firmware. App makers such as yourself that pull that type of maneuver shouldn't be allowed to sell it on firmware that it doesn't function to its full capability on. Period. Because then that shows you're obviously about the money and not the user. You should only be allowed to sell it on firmwares that it has that it works to full potential on.
Yeah, we hear you.
So now I'm forced to try to make a rant video about this specific person. So anyways, they complained to iTunes. They must have said that I was, what they told me, maliciously attacking them, out to get them. Look at all his past reviews. My past few reviews have been negative tinted, bad reviews, basically, from app makers that I've updated, and the apps were working fine until the update, and then they're messed up. But if you go back further, I have rave reviews, and I go off the hook raving big time about apps that I like, especially underestimated ones that are great. They didn't notice that though, did they? And then they're claiming that I'm the only one out of tens of thousands that have given a bad review, implying I must be a nut job, I must be out to get, it's a purposeful attack on them. When you can scroll down about 5 below and it's right there. Same type of things, crashing, freezing, blah, 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 So, yeah, I was pretty irritated. So what they did, they went and told Apple that I was attacking them. And Apple iTunes just listened to them and accepted what they said as fact without even reading my review. Send me a threatening letter saying, you're violating iTunes.
Terms and policies. We will ban you
from reviewing. So then I send them a
big, more intricate email saying, where specifically I send them a
copy of my email, telling about this app maker and how obsessed they are and trying to argue with me. And I paste the review in there. Somebody actually read it, because you obviously haven't, because it doesn't violate your policy. It's not malicious, it's not swearing, it's just matter of fact. And of course they didn't. The next day I get one saying, you are banned from reviewing apps. So then I called Apple support and I let them know what was going on. They said they've never heard of this before. The lady from Apple report read my reviews and said they're fine. What are they talking about? There's nothing wrong with your reviews. They're totally legitimate. Which is right, iTunes. So this is also a rip on iTunes. And of course I'm going to trick it out. And I could get my video editor filmmaker friends involved. But, they have other cooler edits to work on. But I'll get something kind of irritatingly neat for animation creator, if anybody out there is thinking about buying it. Unless you have the latest firmware on your device. 5.1, which they don't tell you because they want your money, even though they care so much. And iTunes is a typical power trip. That's why I just erased my account, took my name down, bank card, all of it, and I'm never buying one more Apple product again. That being said, there's the cliche, common line that we all like to use in our society because we're all basically brainwashed. That being said, the customer service people at the Apple support are really nice people. They've always been really laid back, very friendly, very patient, you know. I think I had one guy out of like 20 different people I've talked to, or I'll probably talk to about 10 people, but that was kind of like impatient, probably having a bad day. But yeah, so yeah, they were
surprised too. I've never heard of this. I just read your reviews. They're fine. What's going on here?
Exactly. What's going on, iTunes? iTunes was pulling a power trip. They didn't like the little email I sent them either. They're like, "I'm going to show you."
We don't have to respond to anybody.
We don't have to answer anybody. There's nobody that can tell us what to do. Well, we'll see about that. So, yeah, fair warning to all you people out there. I don't know if it's miSoft or miSoft, some stupid name like that. They make a bunch of animation ads, but the particular one I'm talking about, Animation Studio. Not to be confused with the app Animation Creator, which for 99 cents is my favorite animation app. It does basically the same thing as Animation Studio, but it's easier to use. It's quick. You can start making cool stuff right off the bat. And it's only 99 cents, where the Animation Studio is like $2.99 or $3.99 because they want your money. Again, I'll say this about Animation Studio. It seemed pretty cool when I was working with it, until the fact that it's useless if I can't save my work. Or if it keeps crashing when I'm trying to work, which it does. So, yeah, this is no kudos to Animation Studio, and minus kudos to iTunes for just being totally inadept and accepting whatever they're trying to appease their app makers, basically kissing up to them without even verifying the facts. As my customer who spent a few $100s, and I was, ironically enough, past few days I've actually been shopping for iPads. I want to get into that market and start filling that up with apps. That's what I do. But no, you screwed that one up, didn't you, iTunes? Now you're going
to lose a customer, and you're going to have bad publicity. So you, iTunes, and you and your little Animation Studio
friends can frolic in the sun while you lose your money and you get some crappy
promotion here. It's called karma. That's what happens. You think the little man's just going to take it? You can just push him around? Because you can't. And it's going to get to the point where the little man's going to get even more powerful because of my friends at YouTube and the great service they provide, and more people catching on. And then the big corporations are going to crumble by the wayside, and they're going to be splintered up into groups of 5 and 10, which is going to be better for the consumer, because then you don't have a monopoly of Apple or Microsoft trying to power trip people and tell you what you can and can't do. Once we have 10 equally powerful computer companies, the consumer is going to be way better off, and I'm looking forward to that time. And by you treating people like this, iTunes, you're only furthering that situation to what's going to happen, and it will happen. Look through time and history. Look at what was big 20 years ago. Atari, where are they at? Remember all that stuff? Yeah, well, the same thing applies to you there. iTunes. And I'm upset about Animation Studio. You get it. Yeah, they'll find out too. Could have been nice and said, sorry, we don't know what's going on. We'll try to make an update. But no. You have to tell me I'm being malicious, attacking, out to destroy app makers. That's what I live for. I was like, ever since I was a kid, I was like, what do you want to do with your life? Oh, destroy app makers, Mommy. Apps don't even exist yet, but
I can see in the future, in a profit, they'll have apps. I want to destroy them.
Idiotic, paranoid crap. But there is a thing as karma, and I'm helping with my part of it right here. And I hope it's actually bigger than that, to where you take a hit and have to realize, oh, maybe we should treat people nicely, not accuse them of being malicious attackers. So anyways, yeah, fair warning out there.
To people who think about getting involved with iTunes, the power trips they play.
I've been ripped off about $60, $70 worth of apps that don't work right, and they just periodically do not respond to you whatsoever. They ignore you, and they think they get away with that. And I really hope they have to pay for that, like 50 times fold. Lose a lot of business because of that. Don't get me wrong, there's some great apps that work perfect and they're better than you thought they would be, and it's awesome. But it's not fair to the consumer to be ripped off continuously on a power tripping corporation, you know? So, that's about that. See what happens down the road of life and how your business actually goes. Both of you, Animation Studio and iTunes. There's my word, there's my say. And that's the power I have. Thanks, YouTube.